No, that's someone else logging in. Uh,
Happy Mother's Day.
oh, yeah. Happy Mother's Day. Yeah, mother.
What do you call a mother?
That's what I've said. How are you?
Uh,
I don't know. Everyone seems to be slow getting in.
yeah,
See that top bar where it says Torah Or at the top of your screen?
yeah,
That's Larry Fish. Now he's listed as the host.
yeah.
Yeah, basically he blocks out the rabbi from coming in unless he transfers it to him, but he doesn't. That's why he usually comes in afterward just to check if everything's okay. But he's in already, and he's blocking him from. No,
Why is he the host?
because he's the one who sets it up through the shul, and then they
I see.
transfer it to him. Oh,
You
here he
got
is.
to call. I should probably have to wake him up and tell him to.
No, he's in now. He's in. Here he goes. There we go. See, everyone got in because he released everyone.
Uh-huh.
Morning, Harvey. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. All right, everyone's in. Nope, Ted's not there.
Okay.
So what goes
We'll
wrong
be
with the Havdalah?
Rabbi, quick question. Are we eventually going to need a password to get in?
Why do you say that?
Because you're supposed to, it said originally Zoom is going to go to a password as of the 9th of the month.
Where did you read that?
I got it on my email.
Yeah.
You know, it says if you were a host, you got it. As a
Okay,
host,
so-
because I host it, so I just tell your members to put in to go to 5.0 and then to prepare to have a password. So I don't know.
So we'll
Can you
see what
check,
Larry does. Good morning. Sorry. All right. I hope everybody had a chance on their own to work on yesterday's daf.
Big dot, very long.
Yeah. Well, like I once told you, I didn't edit it. I just try to teach it. Right?
Okay.
Okay. All right. So I'm just going to do a quick review, on Samech Daled Amud Beis. First of all, we saw again, our Mishnah dealt with issues pertaining to the woman, what she could go out with, certain things like that. The Gemara then went into more detail, again, about some of these cases. And towards the end of the Amud is where I'm going to pick up and have us continue, because today's daf is, I believe, Samech Hey, right? If I'm following the chart.
I think you're correct.
Right? Okay.
I believe you're correct.
All right. So I'm going to start real quick about halfway down Samech Daled. Okay. Right. So there it said about halfway down the Amud. Bekarbul ubepeya nochrit lechatzer. Lechatzer. Right. So it meant either the woolen cap or a non-Jewish woman's wig. She could go into the courtyard. Amar Rav, says Rav, kol she'asru chachamim letzeit bo l'reshut harabim, anything that the sages forbade in terms of going into the public domain, asur letzeit bo lechatzer, it's forbidden to go out into the courtyard. Chutz mikibul u'peya nachrit, with the exception of this woolen cap, like a hairnet or a Gentile wig. Rav Anani Bar Sason, Mishmei de Rabbi Yishmael Amar, he says, Akol kikibul, everything, that the woman wears on the top of her head would be like this woolen cap, this hairnet. Tnan, And we have a Braita that teaches Bekibul b'payat nachrit l'chatzer. Okay, that with this woolen cap and Gentile wig into the courtyard, Bishlem l'Rav necha. Okay, for Rav that was acceptable. El l'Rav Anani bar Sason kasha. For him it was a problem. Rabbi Anani bar Sason mishmei deman ka'amarle. According to who was he holding? Mishmei de Rabbi Yishmael bar Yossi. According to Rabbi Yishmael bar Rabbi Yossi. The Rabbi Yishmael bar Rabbi Yossi Tana hu upalig. That Rabbi Yishmael was considered, even though he was first generation Amora, since he had studied, okay, he was sort of transitional. He was as if he was considered equal to a Tana and therefore could challenge. Varav Maishna Hani, okay, and what did Rav then? Okay, where do they differ? Amar Ula says Ula Kadei Shalo Tit Ganeh Al Ba'ala, right? So that she wouldn't become detestable to her husband. Kidetanya, why? Because we have a Braita that teaches Vahadva Benidata, okay, that she is going to be sick, or that she that is sick shall be in her impurity. Okay. Zakenim Harishonim Amru Shalo Takcho. The earlier sages said that she could not put blue eye makeup on, velo tifkos, and not put rouge on, velo titkashet bevigdate sivonim, and not put on dyed garments, okay, colored garments. Ad sheba Rabbi Akiva, until Rabbi Akiva came, v'li made im kain atam megana al ba'ala. Otherwise, you're going to make her detestable, repulsive to her husband, and the result is he could divorce her. Right? What does the text therefore say? That she becomes sick in her impurity. What does that mean? That she remains in her state of impurity until she comes and enters the water. Amar Rav Yehuda, Amar Rav. So Rav Yehuda said, in the name of Rav, Kol makom she'asru chachamim mepnei maris ha'ayim, afilu b'chadrei chadarim asur. Any place where the sages forbade, for appearance's sake, she's even forbidden in the innermost recesses, the innermost chambers. Okay, so in other words, the implication there is implying that she could not go out, okay, and therefore even in the courtyard, and in the home, she has to be careful, right? And how she behaves, how she dresses, what makeup or not, things like that. So in other words, again, even when she's in a nida state, she cannot make herself attractive, right? So therefore it's prohibited, certainly in the public domain, also in the courtyard. Snan, but we're taught elsewhere in another Mishnah. Velo bezog, not with a bell, fal pisha pakuk, even if it's been, the clapper has been removed. Vitanya, and also a Braita, Idach, another Braita, Pokek la zog, B'tzavara, Matayel ima b'chatzer, that one could remove the clapper from the bell and bring the animal around, excuse me, in the courtyard. So the Gemara says, Tanaihi, this is a machloket Tanaim. The Tanya, as was taught elsewhere in a Braita, on top of Samachay now, okay, that we're dealing with a situation of a Braita, of a person whose clothes got wet on Yom Tov. And the Braita says, Shodchan bechama, that you can spread them out on the roof of one's house in the sun. That's done, so to speak, in more private area. Avalo keneged ha'am, but not, okay, in the sight of people, which would seem to indicate that something done in private, like the Chatzer, is different than something that's in the Reshus HaRabim. Okay? Rabbi Eliezer, right? Rabbi Shimon Osrin. But the two of them forbid it. Okay, we can now come back to the text of our Mishnah. Uvamoch sheba'azna, and with a piece of cloth wadded into her ear. Okay? Tani Rami bar Yecheskel. It was taught by Rami bar Yecheskel the following. Vahu shekashur ba'azna. And this is so long as it's tied to her ear. Ubamoch shebesandla. And again, some wadding of a cloth in her sandal. Tani Rami bar Yecheskel, again he teaches, Bahusha Kashurla Besandla, and that it's tied to her sandal. Okay? Again, from the Mishnah, Ubamoch Shehitkina La Lanidata. Okay, and again, wadding of material that she puts in her private area due to her menstruation. Savar Rami bar Chama Lamemar, Hu Shekshurala Bain Yerichoteha. Rami bar Chama thought to say here, so long as it was tied to her hips, to her thighs. Amar Rava, says Rava, Afal Pish Eino Kashurla, even though it's not tied to her, it would be permitted for her to go out on Shabbat in the public domain. Why? Kevan de ma'is, because it's repulsive, it's despicable. Since it's repulsive, lo atya la atuye, she would not come to carry it in the public domain. Okay. By mine Rabbi Yirmiyah mi Rabbi Abba. Says Rabbi Yirmiyah to Rabbi Abba the following shaila. Astala beit yad mahu. Okay, if she made some sort of a handle on the piece of cloth. Okay, so she didn't have to handle the cloth itself, but had an extra shtickle there that she could grab hold of. What's the status? Amar le mutar. He said that it would be permitted. Okay. Itmar, and it was said nami by also. Amar Rav Nachman bar Oshaya. Rav Nachman bar Oshaya said, Amar Rabbi Yochanan, in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, Astala Beit Yad Mutar, that if he permitted, she made some sort of handle attachment to the piece of cloth, okay, it would be permitted for her to go out Reshus HaRabim, public domain. Rabbi Yochanan Nafik Baho L'Bei Midrasha, and the Gemara now tells us Rabbi Yochanan used to go out into the base midrash, right? With a piece of cloth in his ear, v'chalukin alav chaverov, and his colleagues didn't agree with him. Rabbi Yanai nafik bahol the Carmelit. Rabbi Yanai would go out into the Carmelit, right? V'chalukin alav kol doro. Okay, and many of his contemporaries disagreed with him. Bahatani, but wasn't it taught Rami bar Yecheskel, by Rami bar Yecheskel, who shekashur la ba'azna, and that it was tied in her ear. Okay, wouldn't that make it permissible? Lo kasha. Okay, that's not a difficulty. Ha de mehadak, in one case where it's clearly attached, in other words, firmly in place. Ha de lo mehadak, where it's not attached or not firmly in place. Okay, then, in that situation, we would have to say that it is not, and that's what he's referring to. Okay, even if it's not clearly attached, okay, it's permissible. Rami. Okay, let's go to the next piece from our Mishnah. Bapilpel uvegalgal melech. If she goes out with some pepper or a grain of salt in her mouth. Pilpel l'reach hapeh. Okay, the pepper was there because of the counteract any evil odor from her mouth.
Halitosis.
Right? Gilgal melech l'dor shainai. And the grain of salt was there, okay, because of her gums. Right? It was a cure for gum disease. The chol davar shenotenet latoch piha, or anything else that she might put, okay, in her mouth. Okay, what might that be, says the Gemara? Zan gavila, it might be ginger, inami dartsuna, or it might be cinnamon. Okay. Now, a new piece from our Mishnah. Shein totavet, shein shel zahav. Okay, shein totavet is what we'll call for the moment a false tooth, artificial tooth. Shein shel zahav, or a gold tooth. Right? Rabbi matir v'chachamim osrin. Rabbi permitted it, but the sages forbade it. Now, what was the situation? Amar Rabbi Zera, says Rabbi Zera, lo shanu ela shel zahav. They only taught in regarding a gold tooth. Aval b'shel kesef. But if it was a false tooth made out of silver, divrei hakol mutar. Everybody felt that it would be permitted. Okay, that would be the case. Okay, gold tooth being valuable, people were still afraid that she would take it out of her mouth and display it, and therefore wind up carrying it. Okay, in the Rishus Harabi. Not so a silver tooth. Aval b'shel kesef divrei hakol mutar. Tanya nami hachi, and we have a braita that teaches this as well. Namely, b'shel kesef divrei hakol mutar. If it's from silver, everyone is in agreement that it is permitted. Right? Shel zahav, but of gold, Rebbe matir v'chachamim osrim. Rebbe permitted, but the sages forbade it. Amar Abaye, and Abaye said in this particular case, Rebbe v'Rebbe Eliezer v'Rebbe Shimon ben Elazar, kulhu savira laho, the chol midei the mignaye be, okay, that Rebbe and Rebbe Eliezer and Rebbe Shimon ben Elazar were all of the opinion that of the fact that if this false tooth, let's call it for the moment, detracted in some way from the person's appearance, okay, lo they would not come to display it. Right? Rebbe Hada Amran, Rebbe, as we've stated previously, Rebbe Eliezer, Tanya, okay, Rebbe Eliezer, as he taught, Rebbe Eliezer poter bekovelet ubetzluchit shel plaiton. As we saw, Rebbe Eliezer permitted a woman going out with this kovelet, this amulet, this scented chain, or this vial of balsam. Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar, the Tanya, as he teaches, klal, a general principle, Amar Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar, kol shehu lamata min hasacha, anything that's below the hairnet, so to speak, okay, yotz egba, if it's hanging from it, it's permitted. Lamala min hasevcha, if it's above it, eino yotz egba, then she's not permitted to go out with it, right? And that brings us to the end of that particular item, okay? And there we continue now with the next Mishnah, right? Mishnah is now going to go into a further discussion of, again, what women or men might be able to wear or go out with. Okay? And because of the very first piece of the Mishnah, okay, we're going to see that ultimately we're touching on items that have medicinal aspects as well. In other words, could you wear a bandage out? Could you wear something else on a wound on Shabbat in the public domain? Okay, so let's start. Matnitin, our Mishnah says as follows: Yotz'a besela sha'al hatzinit, that one can go out with a sela coin, okay, on a callus. Right? Habanot ketanot, young girls, yotzot bechutin, they go out with, let's call it threads, okay, and these threads are in their ears. They're the holes in their ears, so that for earrings, so that the holes don't close up. Va'afilu bekismin, and even with small pieces of wood chips, sheba aznehem, in their ears. Araviot, Jewish women in Arabic countries, yotzot re'ulot, okay, they go out, okay, with re'ulot, which are, I guess, a kind of veils, right? Umidyot, and women that were in Persian countries, Persia and Media, profrot, right? Profrot, they go out with, again, also this kind of weight on the veils, right? So they are, okay, and they put these veils over them, and they're weighed down by some sort of a weight, fastened by a weight. V'chol adam, in general men, ella shedivaro chachamim b'hoveh, but rather, and other people may wear those things, but the sages were dealing in the present, what was common, right? Porefet al ha'even, one can sort of fasten, let's call it, these veils using a stone, al ha'agoz, and using a nut, va'al ha'matbea, and using a coin, ubilvad shalot tifrof b'chadchila b'shabbat. Okay, so long as they don't attach the weight on Shabbat itself. So they have to attach the weight to this veil before Shabbat, but then they could wear it out on Shabbat. So the Gemara asks here, my tzinit, what do we mean by this tzinit, this callus, let's say? Bat ara, we say that it's something on the sole of her foot. Okay? Umay shna sela, and why then do what's so unique that they're saying a coin? Ilema kol midi de akusha ma'alela. If we're going to say that anything that's hard is going to benefit it, liavidla chispa. All right, let them use a earthenware shard. Okay, ela mishum shuchta, but it's rather because of the rust, let's say, the corrosion of the metal. Liaved la masa, tasa, okay, and that they make it into a flat plate. Ela mishum sorta, okay, so he says, if that's the case, then use a metal plate. No, he says, ela mishum sorta, it's because of the figure on the coin. If that's the case, liavadla pulsa, let them use an unminted coin. Amar Abaye, shma mina kulhu ma'alim la. From this we learn that all of these are beneficial for it. Right, habanot yotzot bechutin, that girls may go out with these threads in their ears. And now we get a bit of a Agadata story. Avuha de Shmuel, the father of Shmuel, lo shavik lahol livnate, he did not permit his daughters, the nafke bechutin, to go out with these threads, okay? Velo shavik laho ganaim, and he did not permit them to lie or sleep gabe hadade, next to each other. Okay? Va'avid laho mikvaot biomei Nisan. Okay, and that he also would make them mikvaot, okay, during the during the month of Nisan. Let's go back. Va'aviv laho mikvaot biyomei Nisan. He would make mikvaot for them during the month of Nisan. Umaftzei, and he would make mats for them biyomei Tishrei, in the days, in the winter months of Tishrei. Velo shavik laho yotzot bechutin. And we say he didn't permit them to go out with these threads. V'ha'anan tanan, but don't we teach habanot yotzot bechutin, that these young girls are able to go out with these threads? Right? So the Gemara answers, Bante the avu hadishmuel, the tziv onin havu. The daughters of Shmuel had colored threads. Lo shavik laho, okay, that's why he didn't permit them. Lo shavik laho ganaim gabe hadade, that he did not permit them to sleep, lie next to each other. Lema Misayeya Lai Rav Huna. Shall we say that this is a support to the view of Rav Huna? The Amar Rav Huna, Nashim HaMisholalot Zo Bazo, that women who, so to speak, rub up against each other, right? Psulot, this renders them unfit, okay? L'kuhuna, to be able to marry Kohen, because they're concerned that women rubbing against each other is going to promote some promiscuity, some female homosexuality. Okay, so the Gemara says, lo, that's not the case. Savar ki hechi de lo lilfan gufa nochraha. No, the reason he did not permit them to do that is because he did not want them to become accustomed to sleeping with another person, another body, okay, in that case. Va'avid laho mikvah b'yomei Nisan, and the fact that he made them a mikvah during the month of Nisan, okay, which in other words was the spring, okay. Messiah the Rav, this supports the view of Rav. The Amar Rav, for Rav said, Mitra b'ma'arava, rain in the west, in other words, in the land of Eretz Israel, Sahada Rabba, okay, is strongly testified, prat, by the Euphrates. Savar, okay, why? All right, what does that mean? Shall, right, because he was of the opinion, Shelo yirbu hanotafin al hazochalim. Okay, namely, that Shmuel's father was concerned about the fact that when we talk about rainwater and flowing water, okay, that the rainwater would not exceed the amount of running water in the mikvah. Upliga de Shmuel. And what happened? And Rav disagreed with Shmuel. The Amar Shmuel, why? Because Shmuel was of the opinion, Nahara Mikefe Mivrach, that a river was from the river bank, the riverbed, the aquifers under the river, that's what was the source of its water, okay? right? Right? Upliga D-Day, Adi-Day, okay? But this could seem to conflict with another source, another statement of Shmuel. The Amar Shmuel, Ein Hamayim Mitaharin Bezochalim, Ela Prat Biyomei Tishrei Bilvad. That Shmuel had said that the waters of the Euphrates, okay, only flow, okay, in the month of Tishrei, okay, alone, and therefore you need the flowing waters to be the majority of water for them to be able to have valid mikvah, right, in that case. So we don't really come, okay, to a final view, but that statement does seem to, however, to identify with Shmuel's father and with Rav, okay, that said that there is that rainwater and flowing water can mix in order to satisfy the water in the mikvah. Okay. Going on. Now, the Mishnah said, Parefet al ha'evan, that one can fasten this, let's call it a veil for the moment, using a stone, right? Okay. As a weight on the edge of the stone, her cloak, her veil, right? Vaha'amart, Resha Parepet. But at the beginning you said that she may use it to fasten it. Amar Abai, Seifa Ata'em Lematbeya. Okay, says Abai, that actually refers to the later clause when we were talking about the use of a coin. Okay, since the coin can't be handled on Shabbat, okay, therefore that's why, okay, the issue comes up as to whether it can be used as a fasten for the cloak or the veil. Therefore, Abai. So Abai therefore asks the following question, right? Isha, mahu sheta'arif v'tifrof al ha'agoz lahotzi lebena katan b'Shabbat? May a woman then use trickery, deceit, okay, and may she then fasten this cloak, okay, all right, using a nut in order to carry the nut out to her small child on the Shabbat, okay? Is that permissible? Tabaye, you can ask that. It's a problem. Lamanda Amar Ma'arimim, according to those who say that at times it's permissible to use trickery. For example, Tabai Lamanda Amar Ein Ma'arim. Okay? Or you could ask according to the ones who say that it's not permissible to use trickery. What's the example? Tabai Lamanda Amar Ma'arimim B'Deleka. Let's say you could ask it according to the ones who say that deceit or trickery is permissible on an occasion of a fire. Okay? Namely, can somebody on a Shabbat and there's a fire, can somebody carry the clothes or items out into the Reshus Harabim? Hatam hu de'ilo sharit le. There, in that case, if you didn't permit him, ate lekebuye, he might come then to want to put out the fire. Okay? Aval hacha. But here in this case, okay, of the woman using subterfuge, okay, to bring the nut out to the child in the Reshus Harabim, ilo sharit le, lo ate la'afuke. If you didn't permit him, okay, he would not carry it out. O Dilma, or perhaps, afilu leman da'amar ein marimin b'dleika. Even according to those who say it's not permissible, okay, to use subterfuge in regards to some sort of a fire. Hatam derech hotza'ah bechach. Okay, there we might say, in that case, it's usual. It's the normal way of wearing clothing that he could put the clothing on and then carry it out. Okay, and therefore that would not be against wearing them out until Rishus Harabim or Shabbat. But here, ein derech hotza'ah bechach. That's not the usual way to bring a knot of something out to the child. Okay, ema shapir dami. Okay, I might say that it's acceptable. Teku, we have no answer on this. Okay, let's go on, and we'll do a little bit of Samach Vav today too, because Samach Vav Amud Beis for tomorrow was quite long. Okay, a new Mishnah. Again, we're dealing with once more items that for which whether the person can go out on Shabbat. Okay, Hakiteya Yotzei Bekav Shalo, Divrei Rabbi Meir. A person who has amputated a limb, a leg, all right, it has a right, may go out with the wooden stump. Divrei Rabbi Meir. This is the view of Rabbi Meir. The wooden leg, in this case, is almost considered like a shoe. Right? Going on to the Mishnah next. The Rabbi Yossi Oser. And our Mishnah says that Rabbi Yossi forbids it. Okay? Ve'im yesh lo beit kibul ketitin tameh. Okay, and if the stump, let's say, is partially hollowed such that it has a receptacle in it, and the receptacle has material there that act as pads, okay, for him to put this stump of his leg in, assuming, let's say, that it was amputated at the knee for the moment. Okay? Ketitin, that's the pieces of cloth that act as a receptacle. Then the stump, in a sense, becomes a kind of utensil. And as a result, tameh, it's subject to tuma. Okay? Right. Smuchot, okay? If he has supports, okay? These are like leather coverings for his knees. Shelo, for him. Tme'in, midras. That if a zav, if the person who needed these supports for the stump was a zav, okay, then these supports are subject to tumas midras, all right? Some want to translate it as treading. I found that was a little bit problematic. So I'm going to say midras here is being able to put weight on the stump so that one can walk with it, put pressure on it, right? V'yotz'in bahen b'Shabbat, says the Mishnah, and one can still go out, okay, on Shabbat with it. V'nichnesin bahen ba'azara, and one can even enter the temple precinct with it, which is unique because ordinarily people could not enter the temple precinct wearing shoes. But in this case, these leather coverings that were on the person's knees were like almost shoes. Next, let's assume the person had to have amputation even above the knee, okay, or even at the hip, all right? Kisei usmuchot shalo, okay, that the person could only travel in some kind of a chair, okay, and he had these leather attachments on his hands, and he sort of used them to move himself, right? Tme'in b'midras, right? Tme'in midras. Again, they are susceptible to tuma when his weight allows him to walk, travel on it. Ve'ein yotz'in bahen b'Shabbat. He cannot go out with them on Shabbat. Ve'ein nichnesin bahen ba'azara. And he cannot enter the azara with them. Another piece now from the Mishnah, Luk Tamin Tahorim. Okay, Luk Tarim, we're going to call for the moment, those are artificial arms. Okay, right? Ve'ein yotz'in bahen. And he cannot go then to them into the public domain. Okay, so the Gemara is going to continue. We'll do just a little bit. Amar le Rava le Rav Nachman. Rava says to Rav Nachman, there's a problem here. He says, Heichi Tanan, how do we teach this Mishnah? The language of the Mishnah seems to be problematic. How do we learn this text? Because there could be another version. Amar le, he said to him, Lo yadana, I don't know. Hilchata mai, what's the law? Amar le lo yadana. Again, I don't know. Itmar, not what was said. Amar Shmuel. Shmuel said, Ein hakiteya. According to Shmuel, the language of the Mishnah should start differently. Namely, Ein hakiteya. That the person who has this situation of an amputee or stumbling cannot, okay, go out, according to Rabbi Meir. V'cheina ma Rav Huna, and likewise says Rav Huna, ein hakiteya. That should be the language of the Mishnah. Amar Rav Yosef, says Rav Yosef, Ho'il v'amar Shmuel ein hakiteya. Since Shmuel says the language of the Mishnah should be ein hakiteya, v'amar Rav Huna ein hakiteya, and Rav Huna also says it should be ein hakiteya. Anan nami nitne ein hakiteya. We also will teach the Mishnah with the language ein hakiteya, and not the way the Mishnah appears in our text, hakiteya yotzei b'kav. Okay? Now, matkifla Rava bar Shira. Okay, so Rava bar Shira challenged this with the following braita. Lo shamia laho hadamatne le Rav Chanan bar Rava lechia bar Rav kame de Rav bekituna de be Rav. He says, challenges him with the following, right? Rav bar Shira says, didn't you learn that which was taught by Rav Chanan bar Rava to Chia bar Rav, Chia the son of Rav, in front of Rav in the small room in the house of Rav, that ein hakiteya yotzei b'kav shalo, that we say that the amputated person is not permitted to go out with the stump. The words of Rabbi Meir, the Rabbi Yossi matir, and Rabbi Yossi permits it. Umachve le Rav ipuch, and Rav signaled him to the opposite. Okay. Amar Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak simana. Okay, and Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak said the mnemonic device to remember the proper language, samech samech, namely Rabbi Yossi Oser. Since there's a samech in Rabbi Yossi's name and a samech in Oser, that's how we remember it. Okay? Va'af Shmuel hadarbe, and even Shmuel recanted. It's not, as was taught in another Mishnah, chaltza b'sandal she'eno shalo, if chalitza was performed with a sandal that didn't belong to the Yabam, besandal shel eitz, or a sandal made of wood instead of leather, o shel small biyamin, or of the left instead of the right, chalitza kshera. It is a valid chalitza. Okay. Va'amrinan, and we say, right, Mantana, who is it? Amar Shmuel, says Shmuel, Rabbi Meir he. It's the view of Rabbi Meir, right? The Tnan who taught Hakiteya Yotzei Bekav Shalo Divrei Rabbi Meir, the Rabbi Yossi Oser. Okay, that we say here, according to the view that Rabbi showing Shmuel recanted his previous view, that citing that the one who has amputated and using a stump may go out, okay, on Shabbat with the stump, according to Rabbi Meir, but Rabbi Yossi forbids. Right? Okay, just a little further, the Rav Huna Hadarbe, and also Rav Huna recanted as well. Okay, all right, and we're going to stop right in a moment. The Tanya, as was taught in a Braita, Sandal shel Sayadin Tamei Midras, that the sandal, the shoe worn by those who work with lime, the lime burner's shoe, Tamei Midras, is subject to Tamei Midras. As we said, pressure on the item when walking. V'isha choletzet bo, and a woman can perform chalitza with it. V'yotzin bo b'Shabbat, and one can go out with it on Shabbat. Divrei Rabbi Akiva, okay, that's the word of Rabbi Akiva. Okay? So we'll stop right there. It's about halfway down the Amud, all right? And we'll pick up there tomorrow, okay? Everybody take care and have a good day and a happy Mother's Day to the appropriate.
Thank you. To you too, Rabbi Green. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All
You're
right.
Rabbi.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Happy Mother's Day, everyone.
You too.